second. I've invited you on Skype. One more thing. Back. Yeah, Robbie's there. That's good. Good. Right, lovely. I like how I said, "Can you all wear white?" and somebody avant-garde wore black. Oh,
There
what
you
a
go.
reveal! Do you know that's kind of like the Blake Lively Met Gala copper into the aqua, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The halfway up the steps, the kind of like, oh, this rather dated looking. Do you know what I mean? John Galliano bow becomes a whole new dress. And all that was quite cool.
I'm very avant-garde, Luke. You know that.
Off we go. Lachlan. Luke, thank you for having invited me. Clue, auxiliary, infinitive. Thank you for having invited me.
Luke, merci d'avoir m'invité.
Pause. When we were creating our infinitives, be they normal or be they, you know, whatever, what was the first ingredient in both the normal and the auxiliary?
The infinitive. I mean,
no. If there were any available, we did what with the
participle. Pronouns.
No, at the end. The
pronouns.
Thank you. So in the sentence, thank you for having invited me, is me not going to be coming across as a pronoun?
Yes.
So that therefore means that will go before any auxiliaries, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you say thank you for having invited me?
Luc, merci. Luc, merci d'avoir m'invité.
Pause. Avoir is an infinitive. Okay. If I say for you, Luc me parle, what is the normal infinitive of Luc me parle?
Luc me parle.
No. Earlier. What were we doing earlier? Straight in with the pronouns. There's no fucking Luke in the auxiliaries, is there? What's the, in 2 words, what is the pronoun in Luc me parle? What is the auxiliary? What is the normal infinitive in Luc me parle?
Me parle.
Good boy. You would start the normal one with. You start the auxiliary one with. What is the auxiliary infinitive of Luc me parle?
Luc.
Lachlan. Listen to Luke. No. There's no people. Go again.
Avoir parlé.
Listen to Luke. You're not listening. You're just not listening. What do we start with in both versions? We start with the
pronoun.
Good boy. What do we start with in both versions? We start with the
pronoun.
Good. What do we start with in both versions? We start with the
pronoun.
Good man. So Luc me parle. Your avoir parlé bit is brilliant, but if I need the pronouns starting, what's that going to be with the mutt in there? It's going to be
m'avoir parlé.
And again?
M'avoir parlé.
So that is our auxiliary infinitive of that sentence. So thank you, merci de, as opposed to please, merci de, is coming on the back of, is going to be merci de plus the auxiliary infinitive of that sentence. So take m'avoir parlé. It's just say to me, thank you for inviting me. But this time just change it to invite rather than speaking. Merci de
m'avoir invité.
That's it. Why do all of you want to go merci d'avoir m'invité or merci d'avoir me parlé? Because merci de m'avoir invité, what comes after the auxiliary, Lachlan, always? The
participle.
Spot on. And in an ER verb, I never say that, but I'm being kind. In an ER verb, the past participle sounds the bastard same, doesn't it? It's a cheeky little fuck. It sounds the bastard same as an infinitive. So your muscle memory is comfortable saying me parler. Say for me, Lachlan, Luke's going to speak to me.
Luke va me parler.
Gorgeous. Yeah, that's it. So you're used to hearing me parler. So in a sentence where you've got something like merci de m'avoir parlé, you're hearing parler, which sounds the same thing. Sorry, I'm just trying to put this under the computer because it stops it getting hot and then it stops it getting all out of breath. Lovely. So in other words, Lachlan, so go again. So if I say je te le donne, oh, shut up. Oh, well, it just forces you to do vowels. So je te le donne. What's the normal infinitive of je te le donne?
Te le donner.
Flawless. Same pronouns come first. What is the auxiliary infinitive in te le donne?
Te l'avoir donné.
Flawless. Okay. All right. So if I said no, actually I can't do that with the you. Okay. Je tu le lui donnes. You give it him.
Mm-hmm.
Snicker. Tu le lui donnes. What is the normal infinitive of tu le lui donnes?
Le lui donner.
Lovely. What's the auxiliary infinitive of le lui donner?
De lui avoir donné.
Look at you like a fucking machine. So if I was using merci de to mean please, am I going to use the normal one or the auxiliary one? To use please, not thank you.
To please do something, you're going to do...
Not to please. If I'm going to say, do you mind doing this? Am I going to use... So, am I going to use merci de, the normal infinitive, or am I going to use merci de and the auxiliary infinitive? Which one am I going to do?
Normal.
That's right. So merci de... So please give it him. Merci de le lui... Say it for me.
Merci de le lui... Merci de le lui... Merci de le lui...
Look. The normal one for please.
Mm-hmm.
The normal one for please. You've just worked out they start in the same way. If you go merci de le lui...
Merci de le lui donner.
Now bring in the auxiliary one. Notice the le lui is going to be in the same place because it's the same pronouns. Mm. So how would you say thank you for having given it him?
Merci de lui avoir donné.
That's it. That's right. We won't just be doing that today. I just wanted to get a couple in. Everybody will get one. There's yours.
Yeah.
Who knows where it's going to go? Nina hasn't had the lesson on this yet. She's just had to follow that along. So good. Because the person I was going to use as the template was Chris Adams. Not because he's better than anybody else, just because he does love a pure system. But unfortunately, I was surrounded by fucking paint. So let's go, Robbie. I wanted to be able to do it last night. Didn't we all? I wanted to be able to do it last night, but the paint prevented me. I wanted to be able to do it last night, but the paint prevented me. I wanted to be able to do it last night, but the paint prevented me.
J'ai vu les Le Pouvoir hier soir, mais le peintre me préventait.
Pause. I wanted to be able to do it. What is the verb that is being stacked? What are the infinitives that are being stacked? And what is the verb that the it is going with? So in other words, yeah, just try again. I wanted to be able to do it.
J'ai vu les pouvoirs le faire hier soir.
That's it. That's just a muscle thing. That's a musical thing. Your brain is going, oh, vouloir, pouvoir. Right. In other words, first information, second information, and then still my stuff up there. So je voulais pouvoir le faire hier soir. But what's the verb? What does prévenir mean? And it's not prevent. I know it's a common misconception. But what does prévenir actually mean?
Like to see into the future, or to like
that's
organize.
Prévoir, which everybody always likes together. So what does prévenir mean?
To come back? No.
Don't give me the indignity of asking Nina about pre-cum. What does prévenir mean? It means you are, before something comes into being, you are warning someone. You are telling them about what is going to come into being before it happens. Okay. So basically, I'm warning you. Je te préviens. Je te préviens. So prévenir is, you've got the PRE with the venir, and you've got another verb, a similar verb, which is obviously to plan, which is quelque chose de prévu. You've got PRE with voir, so they look a little bit similar, but neither of those are prevent. What did people want to do to George, to W? What did they want to do? They wanted to
it's impeaching. Yeah, of course.
Empêche. Yeah.
Empêche.
So you empêches quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. But the opposite of prevent is to allow. But allow is you allow to somebody to do something. So they're not symmetrical. Because if I said, if permettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose, Robbie, if it's permettre à quelqu'un, is that direct or indirect?
Direct.
Permettre à quelqu'un.
Oh, sorry, is indirect, yeah.
I heard in your brain that you got it right. You just said the wrong word. Yeah. Lovely. So permettre à quelqu'un. So show me it's indirect and say, I allow him to speak. I allow him to speak. That sounds terrible. I allow him to speak. Show me it's indirect.
Je lui permettre.
Present tense. Permettre. What's permettre in the present tense? Je lui permis. Present tense.
Permettre.
What verb does permettre contain?
Permettre.
What verb does permettre contain?
Mettre.
And what's the soft of mettre?
Mais.
That's it. Mais. Lovely. So what's permettre going to be?
Permet.
So say for me, je lui permets.
Je lui permets.
So say for me, nice accent, very nice indeed. Say, I allow him to speak.
Je lui permets à parler.
Permettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. I allow him to speak.
Je permets à...
Look at Lucky. You've got two things to consider. You've got the space between the person and the allow, and then you've got them and their verb. What's going on between the person and the allow, between you and that person? Permettre à quelqu'un. So that's got an à there. Will you always say that à? Will you always say the à? So if I've got a verb which is indirect, when am I going to hear the à? If you've got a verb which in the dictionary is something à somebody, when am I going to hear the à and when am I not going to hear the à?
I guess if it's direct or indirect.
No. They're always, if the à is there, it's always going to be indirect. When would I? Okay, think about it like this. Say for me, I speak to Luke, and use Luke and don't say avec. Say I speak to Luke.
I speak to Luke. Je parle à Luc.
Flawless. You're hearing the à. It's an indirect usage of parler. Parler isn't always indirect, but it's indirect there. Lovely. Now say I speak to him.
Je lui parle.
Am I hearing an à in je lui parle? No. Why not? What took its place? A
pronoun.
So if you've got a pronoun that is going to be good enough to show you're indirect, and let's be honest, they don't all show it. Me and te and nous and fucking vous, they don't show it. That's the same as the direct. So in other words, I'll go back to my original question. What kind of sentence are you going to need to hear the à? So you look up a word in the dictionary, you see that it says something à quelqu'un. For you to hear that à, you are going to either A, need a name, or B, a noun. So for example, Robbie allows Patrice to deliver the product later than planned. Robbie permet à Patrice de livrer le produit, whatever. Or a noun. Robbie allows whatever the man to deliver, Robbie permet à l'homme. So in those two models, you're going to hear the à. if you had a pronoun, lui, you're not going to hear the a. So that's but there's no version of French where allowing somebody's not going to have the permettre a. Either it's going to manifest as the word a, or it's going to be as the pronoun in the middle. But what you guys do is you go, I know that permettre likes a. I know that permettre likes a. So if you then say something like, I allow him to do it, je lui permets, because you didn't hear the a the first time there now, this time now, because you used the pronoun, your brain goes, I'm sure there's normally like an a floating around here. So you go, je lui permets a. You dealt with your a. You just happened to do it in a pronoun form. So that's the first gap. So between permettre and the person. So I allow Robbie to ask the question in English. Then we've got permettre à quelqu'un de faire. So the de with this verb, not all verbs, is coming between the person that you are allowing and whatever they're doing. So in other words, you've got two gulfs to fill. You've got two holes. You've got person that you're allowing, between the relationship between yourself and that person, and then between them and whatever verb they're going to do. And that's what gets everybody in a fucking pickle. So when you look it up in the dictionary, it's nicely spaced. It's permettre à quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. Now, to be honest with you, this first one is the one that's going to be eclipsed. And the second one is not going to be eclipsed very often. Because it's either going to be je permets à Lizzie de le faire, je lui permets de le faire. You're still going to most likely have the second one. Yeah, but this first one is more or not going to be eclipsed. So if it's empêcher quelqu'un, it's not empêcher à quelqu'un, it's empêcher quelqu'un. Okay. So say for me, that prevents me. So what's the short form of empêcher?
Empêche.
So say for me, that prevents me. Ça
m'empêche.
Good. And you don't know there whether or not that's direct or indirect. And that is why I always say, if you learn a phrase and it's me and te and nous and vous, go and be studious, go and look it up, make sure you know whether it's le, lui, ce, whatever the fuck's going on there. Yeah. So in other words, if I've told you that the relationship between empêche and the person is direct, does that mean if I did have a name and I did have a noun, does that mean I'd hear an a, yes or no, if it's direct, not indirect?
Yeah. With direct. No.
But you're just reacting to my pissed off fucking face. This is why I do this, because nobody likes this and it's always just worth doing. What does direct and indirect mean? Fuck it off. It just, the minute you say direct and indirect, I could take your hand, I could feel your pulse, and nobody likes it. It literally means this. Right, what do we have nearby? A metal rose arch is a rather large tool to kind of like, okay, we've got some hemp deo thing, which I'm trying to work through because I bought it instead of the aluminium one, the aloe vera one by mistake. Green's green and I'm blind. So if you said, Luke, I'll be Luke, I shall play the role of Luke. Tonight, the role of Luke is being played by Luke. Okay, so Luke knows Robbie. You're being played by some hemp deodorant. Luke knows Robbie. Between the verb know and Robbie, was there, let's do the French. Luc connaît Robbie. Was there anything between the verb and Robbie?
No.
Without stressing the point.
Sorry.
So without stressing the point too much, that therefore goes directly from the verb to Robbie.
Yeah.
In the sentence, Luke speaks to Robbie. Luc parle à Robbie. Did it go directly from parler to Robbie, or did it have an a in the way?
Had an a in the way.
So the risk of being obvious, that is indirect.
Direct.
Yeah, okay. So if you want to know if something is direct or indirect, like we were just doing with the dictionary definitions of permit, say it in its full form. Fuck lui, fuck le, say it in its full form. That means with a name or the person's whatever noun, like Nina or our friend or the lady with the long hair, whatever. Okay. So if I said I see Nina, je vois Nina, direct or indirect?
Direct.
So therefore, when I see her, je la vois. I use the direct pronoun. If I say I show I showed Nina the photograph. So straight away already you should go, well, right, well, this is a sentence where there's a thing and there's a human and a non-human. So you should normally go, well, the human is, you know, indirect and the photo is direct. You should possibly have that under your belt. But other than that, let's just say it normally. So je, use it without a pronoun. Je montre. La photo, the photograph is direct. À Nina, but Nina is indirect. Do you understand? Because I've got an à before it. So when you look up a verb, you will get this format in the dictionary. So you'll read permettre, permettre, there won't be Luke, permettre à quelqu'un. So if you read in the dictionary permettre à quelqu'un, is that direct or indirect?
Indirect.
Gorgeous. And if you read in the dictionary empêcher quelqu'un, is that direct or indirect?
Direct.
So then when you went to translate it, that's when you would then manifest le for the direct, le, la, les for the direct, or lui and le for the indirect. So if you're not sure whether something's direct or indirect, just say it with a normal thing. So empêcher is empêcher. Everybody wants to say ça lui empêche, but if it's direct, how do you say that prevents? So that prevents me, ça
m'empêche.
That prevents you.
Ça t'empêche.
Ça t'empêche. That prevents us. Ça nous
pêche.
Join them together. Ça nous
empêche.
Good. That prevents you, plural.
Ça vous empêche.
And up until now, have we needed to give a fuck about the direct or the indirect? No, because me and te and nous and vous are the same. For everybody, it doesn't matter whether the direct or the indirect. It makes no difference. Maybe from spelling or something on occasion, but it makes no difference with your verb at the end. Makes no difference. Me and te and nous and vous is the same pronouns, whether it's direct, reflexive, indirect. If I'm telling you that it's empêcher quelqu'un, and it's direct, then how do you say that prevents him? It's direct.
Ça l'empêche.
Good job. Not lui, because lui is the handmaiden of the devil and is the indirect, isn't it? All right, good. So say for me, that prevented me. So put the auxiliary in it now. That prevented me.
Ça m'empêchait.
Auxiliary actions have auxiliaries. Ça
m'empêchait.
Ça m'a empêché. Ça m'a empêché, yeah. No, I've told you that the verb in the dictionary format is empêcher quelqu'un de faire quelque chose. So that prevented me from doing it. Just say it prevented me from doing it. Ça m'a
empêché de faire quelque chose.
The de, that's lovely. But with the musicality, because you guys go like, so in other words, if you're used to hearing something in the first half like an ah, when the ah has vanished, you'll go, isn't there an ah? Where's the ah? Isn't the permettre with ah? Permettre, I'm sure permettre is with ah. It is if you have a name or a noun. All right, good, lovely. I'm going to give you some more of those models when it comes back to you, Nina. Although it's ambitious, I managed it, but I have no idea how. I literally at one point in time prayed to my grandpa. I literally did. I was like, Papi, help me. I was like, I generally don't know how I'm going to finish this fucking thing. So say for me, Lena, although it's ambitious, I managed it. I have no idea how.
Bien que ça soit ambitieuse, j'y suis arrivée, j'ai aucune idée comment.
Lovely. So bien que so let's now tidy up a little bit. Ça versus ça. So if it's ambitious, how would you say it's ambitious?
C'est ambitieux.
Pause. How are we pronouncing am?
Ambitieux.
Ambitieux. And with the say, are we going to use a masculine noun or a feminine noun?
Masculine.
So up you go. So c'est ambitieux.
C'est ambitieux.
Ambitieux.
C'est ambitieux.
Good. Soften it. C'est ambitieux.
C'est ambitieux.
Or, to be honest with you, we say ambitieux. Okay, lovely. Okay, lovely. Notice that if we subjunctivize, that's not a word in any way, shape, or form. The se, say, people want to say s'asseoir, but we could just as much have ce soir.
Ouais.
Yeah, it's not always the done thing. Okay, so ouais, tu es bien que ce soit. If it's the act of painting it, then fine, ça would be fine. But you know, so as a general rule, if you're using a verb with that, ça likes other verbs and ce likes verbs to be, right? Bien que ce soit ambitieux, I managed it. That was perfect. What's I managed it?
J'y suis arrivé.
Ouais, j'y suis arrivé. Lovely. J'y suis arrivé. What is the main verb in j'y suis arrivé?
Arrivé.
Good job. What is the pronoun in j'y suis arrivé?
I.
Great. So using my normal infinitive model, which goes pronoun, standard verb in infinitive. What is my normal infinitive from that sentence? So my normal infinitive model, Nina, is just whatever pronouns were there and the infinitive of the main verb. What would the normal infinitive model be?
Y arriver.
Gorgeous. To be used with go. Il va y arriver. To be used with standard style modal verbs. Ouais, il peut y arriver. Il pourrait y arriver. To use with verbs which use a and de a lot of the time. You know, ouais, il continue à y arriver. Il a décidé d'y arriver. To use with avant. Avant d'y arriver. To use with merci when it means please. Well, merci d'y arriver. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to be fine. Yeah, merci d'y arriver is fine. What would the auxiliary infinitive be, which is same pronoun, have or fucking be in the infinitive, past participle of said original juicy verb that was previously in the infinitive and is now going to be in the past participle. So what would that be? Of the expression whatever, j'y arrive or whatever, anything. It doesn't matter what your feeder tense is. It's still going to be, it doesn't matter. Oh, Luke said it with an auxiliary in the first version. It doesn't matter. That's what I had to say to Lachlan in his class. It's like, it doesn't matter whether you're hearing tu as manger or tu manges. Your standard normal infinitive would be manger and your auxiliary infinitive would be avoir mangé. So what's your auxiliary infinitive of j'y arrive, for example?
Y être arrivé.
Good. Lock it down. Lock the wet bit at the back of your throat going into your palate. Y être arrivé, and make more of it with your chest than with your mouth. Ouais, y être arrivé, push.
Y être arrivé.
Lovely. Notice that they're both heads. They're not chests. They're not massively far apart compared to I and U, but they actually feel physically harder to slide from than an I to an U for a lot of people. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Like some people find it easy to go oui or oui than they do going yeah. It sort of gets trapped on, pardon me, on that bit of the back of the throat. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So no gag reflex jokes. So basically, Robbie's tired. so basically, push it forward. Y être. Okay, good. Okay. Lovely. Where could we use the auxiliary infinitive? We could use it for thank you. Yeah, so merci d'y être, whatever, arrivé. We could use it for after if it's the same person. So say after managing it, I was happy. How would you say that? Same person. After managing it, I was happy.
Après d'y être arrivé.
Love it, après d'y être, and that would give me an après d'y être.
I just know the, okay, après d'y être.
Lovely, okay. Yeah, okay. You've learned to say après avoir and après être. You've then learned to turn off correctly the après and the après être when there's a pronoun. Because up until now, you've had après l'avoir, après m'avoir. Yeah. And I'm now saying if it's an E, you can pop that back on. All right. So say for me, après y être arrivé.
Après y être arrivé.
Nice. Okay. We could have it with je suis content or contente if we were going to talk about the past. Side note, Nina, I know you haven't done this in a class yet, but to be very specifically clear, the inclusion of the auxiliary infinitive is not just a time thing. It's not like, oh, the pasts have it and the presents don't. For some shit, yes. For other shit, not. Just acknowledge this for me, Nina. Say for me, next week, I don't know how I'm going to see Lachlan without killing him. Say for me, next week, I don't know what you've done, Lachlan, but you were just in the middle of the screen. So say for me, next week, I don't know how I'm going to see Lachlan without killing him. Off you go.
La semaine prochaine,
La semaine what? La semaine what? Pardon?
prochaine. La semaine prochaine, je sais pas comment je vais voir Lachlan sans le tuer.
Lovely. Even though it's next week still, if I needed to show that one of those verbs was coming before the other verb, say for me, next week, I don't want to go to the meeting without having read the brochures. I've got nothing to offer. I'm not in a position to comment. I don't want to go to the meeting without having read the brochures. I don't want to go to the meeting without having read the brochures.
Je veux pas aller à la réunion sans avoir lu
There we go. So it's not, but so in other words, the avoir might just be that you've, for whatever reason, wanted to factor in some previousness on that verb. Whereas if it was the je suis content, so Nina, if I said il s'en prend à moi, il s'en prend à moi, he gets pissy with me about it. Okay, what is my normal infinitive? Remembering my model of grab any pronouns, grab any main verb, and then carry on the rest of the sentence. If there's any other let's not confuse the normal infinitive with the dictionary infinitives. All your shit of quelqu'un, quelque chose, faire, get rid of it. You're literally playing with that sentence that you've been given. The purpose of it, as I said to Robbie, somebody said to you, ah oui, mais moi je lui en veux grave, I really resent her. And you say, oui, mais tu vois, avant de lui en vouloir, mais tu t'entendais bien avec elle. Before you kind of had a problem with her, you got on really well with her. So you are kind of taking the réplique, the reply, the picking up of what someone's saying. So in this model, you bring anything else that's next to it afterwards. Yeah, you're going to carry that through. So in other words, if I said il s'en prend à moi, il s'en prend à moi, Maggie, I realised I haven't done you first and you might have to go because of your son's piano. I do apologise. So il s'en prend à moi. So what would be the normal infinitive of il s'en prend à moi?
S'en prendre à?
And you'd include the moi.
Ah, s'en prendre à moi.
And again?
S'en prendre à moi.
For you, fast and mouth closed. S'en prendre à moi.
S'en prendre à moi.
That's lovely, 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 lovely. 90% of your sound, no, 70% of your sound, 90% vowel journey, but 70% of your sound can be created before it even reaches the lips. Oui, tu veux s'en prendre à moi. Lovely. Good. What would be your auxiliary infinitive of s'en prendre à moi?
S'en être prendre.
S'en être, past participle, s'en être
pris. S'en être pris à moi.
Good, 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 good. Now, as I send you people's classes from this week, Nina, I'm not sure whose you'll get. Some people I've told to use what I call before you go and happy ever after. So that means I've made them practice the infinitive normal with, which let's be fucking frank, this isn't going to break anybody's brain over je vais danser, but I mean like when you've got like a phrasal verb that's coming, you know. So I've made them practice that after before and go. So for example, je lui en veux, je lui en voulais, je lui en voudrais, je lui en voudrais. C'est bizarre que je lui en veuille. Je vais lui en vouloir and avant de lui en vouloir. And then other people, I've made them practice the, and then the other part, the auxiliary part, I've made them practice happy ever after, which means practice it with a happy. So je suis content de lui en avoir voulu, or happy ever after, après lui en avoir voulu. To be brutally honest with you, Nina, just for you, just do it with avant on the top one and après on the bottom one. So in other words, if you had a verb like je me casse, no, tu te casses, so tu te casses, tu t'es cassé, tu te casseras, tu te casserais, c'est bizarre, voilà, il est bizarre que tu te casses. Tu vas te casser. Tu t'es cassé. Sorry, no, not that. What did I say? Avant de te casser. Use avant de. And then the bottom one would be tu t'es cassé, tu t'étais cassé, tu te seras cassé, tu te serais cassé. C'est bizarre. Il est bizarre que tu te sois cassé. Après être cassé. That for me would be the most streamlined way for you to add 2 new things to that thing. Good.
Okay.
Maggie dearest, are you still there? Maggie,
2 minutes.
off you go.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Maggie, so for me, Luke, I'm happy that you've done this kind of work, because God knows you wouldn't have remembered your class from this week. So for me, I'm happy that you've done this kind of work.
Je suis content de
Look at Lukey.
l'avoir fait.
Look at Lukey. How dare you remember your class from this week? But wrong person, because I am happy that you have done your work.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
fine. Off you go.
Je suis content que tu aies fait ce genre de travail.
Like Robbie, although all of you absolutely dispelled the concept of a muscle memory to begin with, you are getting into stuff musically, and you know the tunes of adding an infinitive at the end of the sentence. The infinitive is not at the end of the sentence, it's a different kind of sentence. So avoir, je suis content que tu aies fait. Don't forget the role of the past participle.
Yeah.
Go again. Not avoir. Not je suis content que tu aies fait. Go again. I'm happy that you've. Off you go. I'm happy that you've done.
Je suis content que tu aies fait ce genre de travail.
Drop it down. Ouais, give me a human story. Ouais, je suis content que tu aies fait ce genre de travail.
Je suis content que tu aies fait ce genre de travail.
Good. When we first started working together, I said that your consonants in English were really quick and really, and I said we needed to put some vowels in. You've now found the vowels, but you can now go back to your quick consonants. So that's fine then. So don't labour it. Just go, ouais, tu vois, je suis content que tu aies fait ce genre de travail. Off you go.
Je suis content que tu aies fait ce genre de travail.
Lovely, lovely. Now say, I'm happy that I've done this kind of work. I'm happy that I've done this kind of work, which will use the auxiliary infinitive as you've just demonstrated.
Je suis content d'avoir fait ce genre de travail.
So that fucking thing at the end, people are like, fair. Yeah, be careful. Yeah. Good, lovely, Maggie.
I have to go. I'm so
I
sorry.
know.
Sorry.
Lovely.
Thanks.
Let's
Thank
come
you.
back. Robbie,
Bye.
it's a safe me. Merci de Robbie. Which one do I need if I wanted to use thank you? Do I want to... No, do you know what? Let's fuck this shit off. I'm bored of this shit. Let's just do something else for 10 minutes. Let's just do something completely different. Thank you, Luke. I'm sick of this topic. Thank you, Luke. I'm sick of this topic.
Merci Luc, j'en ai marre de cette topic.
Ce thème.
Ce thème.
Lovely. Close your mouth. Merci, Luc. J'en ai marre de ce thème.
Merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème.
Close, mouth more closed, chest more active. Send it forward to me. You're speaking for yourself. Don't speak for yourself. Speak for me. Speak for Nina. Speak for the microphone. Ouais, merci Luc. J'en ai marre de ce thème.
Oui, merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème.
Look at yourself in the kind of thing and catch your face. And if it oh God, the screamers are back. I love them dearly, but there's some little girls that live next door, and the only game is screaming and seeing who can scream the loudest. Oh my God. It's like Besançon. In logic language learning, they can't hear you scream. So, merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème. There's some teethage. Merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème. But not merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème. Hide the teeth in it. Ouais, merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème.
Oui, merci Luc, mais j'en ai marre de ce thème.
Good. It's a little bit powerful here. Just more chest. Merci Luc, j'en ai marre de ce thème.
Merci Luc, mais j'en ai marre de ce thème.
That's it. That's the speed you've got to practice at. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay.
I'm happy I can do something else. I'm happy I can do something else. Do you know what? That's accidentally almost brought one in, and I didn't even fucking do it on purpose. I'm happy I can do something else.
Je suis content que je peux faire
je suis content is a
same person. Yeah.
I legitimately didn't even do that on purpose, but it does show us it's fucking relevant. After you go, I'm happy I can do something else. Okay.
Je suis content d'être faire.
No. To be able to do something else always scares people, because to be able to has got fuck all to do with to be. What is the verb to be able to, Robin?
Pouvoir.
Good. I can't hear the poo. Push it forward.
Pouvoir.
That's lovely, lovely. So I'm happy to be able to do something else.
Je suis content de plus voir quelque chose d'autre.
Lovely, that was gorgeous, but we missed out faire. Je suis content de pouvoir faire. Stacking the infinitives. Just get used to it. Ouais, je suis content de pouvoir faire quelque chose d'autre.
Je suis content de pouvoir faire quelque chose d'autre.
Main tip, I want you to tell me with your emotions, with your, with your the voice. I want you to tell me that you are happy to be able to do something else. Because the main thing to remove this from anybody is just have a story in the solar plexus. Oh ouais, tu vois, je suis content. It's not, yeah, but just a little bit more. Oh, tu vois, je suis content de pouvoir faire quelque chose d'autre. Just a tiny bit more. What's the story? What would be heard? What would be heard? You and I can be heard from the other side of the wall. What can they hear? They can't hear, but they can hear. Oh, they can tell that we're not having a fight. Okay, so tell me the story that they can hear.
Je suis content de pouvoir faire quelque chose d'autre.
But you don't truncate it. Ouais, je suis content de pouvoir faire quelque chose d'autre, go.
Ouais, je suis content de pouvoir faire quelque chose d'autre.
Lovely. Sit in that. Be comfortable sitting in that. Good. Lachlan. Luke, if I'd known we were going to do this kind of thing, I wouldn't have come. Luke, if I'd known we were going to do this kind of thing, I wouldn't have come.
Luke, si j'avais connu qu'on va faire ce genre de choses,
I wouldn't have come.
Je n'aurais pas venir.
Pause. So there's some good stuff here. Let me just clean it up. First things first. If you are using the verb to know about another verb, I know where Nina lives. I know where Robbie lives. I know where Lachlan lives. I particularly know where Lachlan lives, and I will fucking send my ex-father-in-law around to beat the shit out of him if he doesn't turn up. He's El Paso. It's a bit of a drive, but he can get to you. So basically, if you are using the verb to know about another verb, use savoir. Yeah. So but the tense you chose is correct. So if I'd known, off you go.
Luke, si j'avais connu que.
If we're using the verb to.
Yes, Luke, si j'avais su que.
Lovely. Now, this is a Susan Monroe special. If you've got this tense going into this tense, people go, oh yeah, it's that fucking shit. Was into would, or was in the middle into was in the middle. Not necessarily. The second sentence might just be some more framework surrounding bump talking about the first shit. So if I were free and on the West Coast, I would see Nina. If I were free and I had some time and I was on the West Coast, I would see Nina. All this first load of stuff is still just other stuff describing what then is going to go over there. And a lot of people go, I've done this shit, so they need to go over there. Si j'étais dispo, tu vois, j'étais en Californie et j'avais un peu de temps libre, whatever, then I move across. So don't be like, don't be all like Charleston, like that one, straight away. So si j'avais su that we were going to do this kind of thing, is just more background information. So what's we were going?
Qu'on allait.
Lovely. Do this kind of thing.
Faire ce genre de choses.
Nice nasality. Close your palate down. Si j'avais su. So this is the main thing. All of you, there's nobody here that hasn't got a vocal talent in particular. There's some people that never quite break the glass ceiling of voice. All of you have got a good voice. Don't let your success earlier in the sentence with one vowel deny you, prevent you, empêcher quelqu'un de prevent you from doing the other thing. So if you've just had a really gorgeous j'avais su and you feel that you're all up here, don't be forgetting to go hon hi hon hi hon. C'est si j'avais su que nous allions, qu'on allait faire ce genre de choses. So don't be afraid to go oh, we've got the same thing. I wouldn't have come. You were correct to pick one of aurait or serait, but you picked the wrong one. Say for me, I came.
Je suis venu.
Je suis venu, lovely.
Venu.
Say for me, I had come. Just move through your tenses. I had come.
J'étais venu.
J'étais venu. Don't confuse vendu. That you've got a bit of visualization going on, which makes sense with all the French stuff you've got coming up, but don't visualize. Venu, not vendu. So say for me, I came. Je suis venu.
Je suis venu.
I had come. J'étais venu.
J'étais venu.
I will have come.
Je serais venu.
Spelled AI. Good. I would have come.
Je serais venu.
Spelled AIS. It's interesting that I came.
C'est intéressant que j'aille.
Stand still. Fuck me. Verb to be in the subjunctive. C'est intéressant que je...
C'est intéressant que je suis.
Subjunctive in the verb to be. C'est intéressant que je suis.
Oh yeah, c'est intéressant que je sois. Je sois.
My counterpart Robbie, having been forced to do it himself, might very well go, do you know what, this would be a good opportunity to do the 12 game or the 10 game. Good, I've got to go because I've got Lizzie in a couple of seconds. So in other words, je suis venu, j'étais venu, je serai venu, que je sois venu. If we were now doing our auxiliary, it would be yada yada, être venu. Mm-hmm. So which one of those is it going to be for I would have come? Je
serais venu.
And why didn't you like that? Because it's negative. And whenever there's anything negative, it's basically a little fairy wand of shit that ruins the grammar that was otherwise perfect. So what's I wouldn't have come? Je
serais pas venu.
Thank you. So put it together. Oh, mais si j'avais su qu'on allait faire ce genre de choses, je serais pas venu. Si j'avais... I'm honestly going to say it's me, honestly, because none of you need patronizing. Nina's marrying into France. Robbie's renting in France. And you're about to move to France. So it's like none of you needs patronizing. Ah oui, mais si j'avais su que... What were we saying? Ah, mais si j'avais su qu'on allait faire ce genre de choses, mais je serais pas venu, quoi. No fucking strong consonants. Oh non, mais si j'avais su qu'on allait faire ce genre de choses, je serais pas venu. Have a go, Lachlan. Si j'avais su qu'on allait faire ce genre de choses, je serais pas venu.
Si j'avais su qu'on allait ce genre de choses...
Pause. You missed out fair, but that first bit was fucking badass. Listen, I've got to go because I've got Elizabeth. That first bit was beautiful, Lachlan. That was absolutely a little window into future Lachlan. Let it not be a 6 month future Lachlan. Let it be a 2 weeks future fucking Lachlan. All right? Good. I like our little clean-up sessions on a Friday. It's good. Good. Nina, keep your phone by you. I might be going for a walk this weekend and need someone to talk to. Good. In which case, you... Good. And I'm honest to God, proper seriously, having painted some shit, looking at Besançon dates and all of this kind of stuff. But I was also waiting to hear from Lizzie on that stuff, so I'm now going to pin her down on it now. Good. Lachlan, I can't even look you in the face and talk about Besançon. All right. Loads of. I'll just look at something else. Right. Well done.
Merci, Luc. Au revoir.